Throughout my career as an editor, I've edited over 250,000 YouTube videos. And wait, 250,000? Can I edit that in my lifetime? Let's see. But truly, I've not edited 250,000 videos, but I've edited 250 videos actually. Over, I think now it should be getting to maybe about 300 YouTube videos specifically. Okay, so that is where I have specialized my editing skill. And in this video, basically what I want to teach is how you can color grade on Capcut and Premiere Pro. Okay, so if you have watched the previous video where I began to teach you how to transition from Capcut to Premiere Pro, you will remember that I said that the purpose of making that video is to show the people who are already using Capcut how to do their work on Premiere Pro. So I know how hard it can be, or it can seem to be, when you're moving from one software to another. I mean, especially when the new software look more complicated than the previous one. So I'm making this video for you. And yes, like I said earlier on, I've edited over 250 videos, and I have done a lot of bad color grading and good ones as well. But I must be honest with you, the bad ones have been more. And it's interesting that I'm able to identify them now, because then when I was doing them, well, they were better than the actual footage. So I mean, that's the point, right? So in this video, what I want to do again is to teach you how to color grade on Capcut and on Premiere Pro. I do not know if you're already doing your color grading well on Capcut. What I know is that color grading, it is a skill, and basically when you just go to Premiere Pro, if you understand it well, all you need to do is to be able to use the tool, which is Premiere Pro, to exercise your skill, which is color grading. And really, color grading might seem complicated to you, but it is not, okay? Especially if what you're doing is YouTube video. If you're not a colorist, if you're not someone who colors film like actual Netflix movies or something like, I'm not saying you shouldn't aim for that standard, but if you're just starting out editing YouTube videos, then you might not need to be the expert. Well, you should be an expert, but you get what I mean. You might not need to be that person who does only color grading, because color grading is just part of your skills as a video editor. So let us dive right into it. But before then, I'm going to tell you the plan. Okay, so what should you be expecting in this video? How are we going to do the whole thing in order for you to understand? The first thing I would do is teach you the fundamentals of color grading. Actually, I want you to have the skill. Okay, so I would just run through everything, show you how to use them, what they mean, so that when you see them on any software, you are confident in your ability to do something with them, in your ability to take what is good and make it better, or what is not good and make it good, right? And then I will show you how to color grade on Capcut, as well as how to do it on Premiere Pro. And then I'll give you 3 action steps to get you started as soon as possible. Now, I think that this video is going to be long. I do not know yet, okay? I just want to teach. I'm a teacher and I actually teach well. So I will teach, give out as much as I know. I'm not saying that there won't be other videos that won't teach you something better. In fact, I do not advise you to watch only this video. I think if you want to really learn color grading, you should watch this video, watch more videos, okay? I might be able to teach you something that other people will not, but that's it. I just want you to understand that this video might be long. I don't know how long, but I'm sure that you are going to learn a lot, because while I was preparing for it, I knew that I want to be teaching what I've spent a lot of my time, my money on courses learning, and I'm making it into this video and I'm giving it to you. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you why. But for right now, let's just dive right into it and let me add some value to your life. Okay, so where do we start from? Delete this, confirm. Okay, so we are right here on Premiere Pro. As I said earlier on, we are going to be starting from Premiere Pro, and I am going to be importing some videos. Let's see, document. So I think in the beginning of this video, you'd have seen the before and after of some color grading we did. And yeah, so these are the videos we use. I am going to be giving you access to maybe 1 or 2 of these videos, so that you're also going to do exactly what I've done in this video. But basically, where I want to start from is to explain the fundamentals, okay? The basic concepts, the things that you should know first. So first, I would like to access this is Capcut. We are going to move to Premiere Pro in some minutes, but first we're on Capcut. And on Capcut, before I can see my panel for color grading, before I can see it, I must have a video on my timeline. That's one thing you should know. Okay, so I have to drag this footage and put it on my timeline before it can show here. And usually it will be here. Okay, you can see this video, the part that is highlighted right now, that is what will automatically show. So you wouldn't easily be able to navigate your way to the panel where you color grade unless you move to adjust. Okay, sometimes you you have to click this arrow and it is hidden there. But once you click adjust, this is your color panel. This is where you do your color grading and all of that. And while you can auto adjust, color match, cancel, and use all of this automatic feature, I wouldn't advise you to use this if you are just getting started. Okay, if you don't yet understand what these things do, what these other things do, I wouldn't advise you use all of this. One of the things that has helped me as a video editor is the fact that when I was trying to understand video editing as a whole, I did not focus on using presets, shortcuts, and everything. I just wanted to understand it first. Then when I knew that I could do it, when I knew I could do exactly the preset that they were giving me, I could make it myself, then I started to use it. Okay, because that's the point. Okay, you want to be able to understand it. Okay, because then that is when you'll be able to maximize it. All right, so now we are here in our panel, and the first thing that we are going to be talking about that I want you to understand is that there's a difference between color correction and color grading. Okay, there's a difference between, now you have to understand that I have some definitions in this Google Doc that I will link in my description, and you are going to see that what color correction is, it is fixing color problems in your footage to make it look natural and balanced. Okay, so it's more like you are adjusting your image so that the white looks whiter and the black looks blacker. And the skin tones have the right look as well. Okay, so what does that mean? Because I know that might sound complicated to some people, but you just have to breathe in, breathe out, and pay attention to what I'm saying. Okay, so if you are correcting a clip, it means that your footage doesn't have the right content, or it has the right content, but the color content did not come out as natural as it should. Okay, so now you are correcting the color, you are taking it back to the actual color that it is meant to be. Okay, so basically color correction focuses mainly on the whites looking white and the blacks looking black, and then the skin tones. Those three things are like the most important things in your footage. The skin tones is the color of the skin, and this footage is not supposed to be this good. It is looking good, but even as good as this is looking, it is kind of overexposed, and overexposed is another thing that you should know. Overexposed means that your footage has too much white. Okay, so let me look for an example here. Let me see. Okay, like this footage, the white is too much. Okay, or the brightness I should say is too much. So that kind of clip is overexposed. But when you have a clip where the footage doesn't have enough white, then it is underexposed. Okay, so you use color correction, for example, to balance the exposure of your footage. Okay, so you can see that this video right now is overexposed. Now to make sure it is looking good, what we need to do is to come to color correction. If you click on this, it will try to automatically adjust it, but I don't think you are even getting the best results. But you can see that it really just tried to adjust the brightness. I think that was even worse. Actually, that was worse. So if we want to color correct this, basically what we need to do is this exposure, right? I will still explain what exposure means on its own, but for right now, let me just show you something. Now you can see that if I pull up this exposure, it becomes very white. I think what happened to this video, because it is looking good actually right now, but what happened is because I'm using a MacBook, I think that whenever I bring in clips like this, especially on Capcut, it kind of automatically adjusts them. I don't know why, but on my other PC, which is a Windows PC, it doesn't do like that. But basically, let us just continue. If I drag up this exposure, you can see that it becomes white. But if I pull it down a little, which is what we want to do to this clip, I can say that I have actually color corrected this clip the way it is. Then I can add a bit more contrast. I will explain what all of this mean in a minute. Then highlights, I can reduce the highlight. I will tell you why I choose to reduce the highlight and not increase it, because those are the things you want to understand. Okay, so I can reduce the highlight. The shadow, I can increase it a little bit, or maybe decrease it because I want the blacks to come out. The white and black, I don't use this. The brilliance, I can just increase it a little more. I can have something like this, and this is the
5 books that you must read if you...
That's the before, and this is the after. So you can see it is much better this way. Again, let me show you. This is before, this is after, this is before. So you can see here the brightness is too much. Here everything just seems to be balanced. Okay, so that is color correction. That is not color grading. Okay, that is color correction. Color grading, however, is when you, let us look at our definition here. Color grading is when you are styling your footage to create a particular mood or visual vibe. Okay, it is actually when you are working with actual colors. You are not just working to make your video look balanced or natural. Okay, you are now adding more color to make it communicate a particular emotion. Okay, as it says here. Okay, so it is the creative part where you add your unique color look to tell a story or set an emotion. And what that means in practical terms is you can decide that you want blue to be the dominant color in this footage, okay? So you can color grade your video to give off the blue vibe, and that blue vibe communicates calmness to your audience. At the same time, you don't want all your clip to be blue, right? Even though you want to have that blue feeling in that your content, you don't want something like this, right? This is too blue. So color grading is when, even though you're emphasizing a particular color, every other thing is balanced, including your skin tone. Your skin tone is the color of the skin of your subject or your character, okay? So that is that for that. That's the difference between color grading and color correction. We are going to be doing some, let me see, we're going to be doing some, and I would go into details when we are doing that. Okay, so now the next thing I want you to understand is what we call the lookup table next. Yeah, the lookup table, the LOT. Okay, so LOT, okay, so this is lookup table, and that name, it has everything to do with the way the software is engineered. So lookup tables are more like templates. They are more like filters, like Instagram filters that you use, okay, but just that they are for actual videos, okay? Now, the lookup tables are basically, the way I understand it from what I've learned so far, it's more like you have a template, okay, and then you install the template. At the moment, I don't use lookup tables. I have no need for them right now. I only use 20% of what I'll be teaching you, and I'll be telling you those 20% as we move along. But basically, this lookup table is like a file, okay, that you bring in. Now, that file has more like they've done either color correction or color grading, or even both in that particular file, okay? So when you bring in a lookup table and you click on it, it will change the color content of your footage to the color of the file that you bring in, okay? Now, the way I understand it is that that file that you bring in is more like a table, and then your software looks up that table, and then on that table, based on the instruction, the way they have set, the person who created the file has set it, it can change your blue to teal, yes, can change your white to black, your purple to whatever, okay? So it is going to look at this color content that you have here, the color that you have in your actual footage, and then it will go to the file and see what color it has been mapped to. You can think of it like a list that says every time you see blue, swap it to teal. Every time you see light yellow, swap it to orange. So that's basically what your lookup table does. It changes the color content of your actual footage based on the instruction that has been given to it, the way it has been set up, okay? So it is fast and all of that, but again, I advise you, if you're just getting started, you want to stay away from this for now, okay? Later on, you can begin to use them, because the truth is, when you actually start to use these lookup tables, there are times you have to adjust things, okay? And if you don't understand what you're doing, okay, if you don't understand color grading to an extent, you will not be able to maximize it. So now we are coming down. The next thing we are going to be looking at is temperature, tint, and saturation. Temperature is simple, okay? It's basically how cool or how warm your footage is, okay? It's as simple as that. If you pull up the lever to this yellow point, it seems more yellow or cool, and you can see here it is very yellowish, and this place is more bluish, okay? So that is what your temperature is. You might think that this explanation that I'm giving is not valuable, is not as valuable as maybe just doing everything and doing it and all of that. But I tell you the truth, if you actually understand this, if you have the basic idea of what I'm talking about, even when we move to Premiere Pro, you will see the importance of it. I will show you how to navigate to the color panel on Premiere Pro, and Premiere Pro usually has this lumetri scope. It is here as well. I stopped using Capcut. I've not been using it as much, but here it is. I would also show you when we get to Premiere Pro. I'll show you how to read all of these things, because these are things you should be able to read. Now, that is temperature. Temperature is how cool or how warm your footage is. For this kind of footage now, if I want to give it a cool look, I can bring it down a little. Now, a lot of times you don't need to adjust it to this like completely. You can just, you're okay like this, okay? And I usually trust my eyes to help me out, and I also look at the lumetri scope when I need to. That's temperature. Now, tint, I do not use this tint, okay? Tint is actually the, how would I call it now? It's more like it does the same thing that temperature does, but for another color. For example, if I slide down this tint to green, to this green part, my footage becomes green. If I slide it to the pink part, my footage becomes pink. In this particular footage, I do not need it, okay? I need it in a footage where, for example, I need green, okay? Maybe it is a shot that I took in the garden or something, and then I find that my green is not coming out. I just slide it down a little, okay, to add more green to my footage. Okay, you can see that as I'm doing this, what it's doing is, because there is no green there, it's just adding in green unnecessarily, okay? Assuming there's green in this particular footage, it won't do like that. And the same thing, let's say I have a footage where I need more pink or magenta or purple, not like it is absent, okay? It has to be present first, okay? I mean, the color you want to increase, it has to be present for these tints to be effective. So now, but you want to have more of that, you can just light it up like this, and yep, that's what you have. Assuming I was color grading only the background and I have isolated his face, which is a technique that you can use. You can just, when you finish color grading the subject of the footage, you can duplicate your clip, remove the background of your subject, and then color grade your background, which can make your footage look nice, okay? In this video, I'm not doing that. So now, that is tint. Tint is, it works the same way temperature does, just that it does it for green and for pink or purple or magenta. As simple as that. Now, saturation. Saturation is basically dealing with the intensity of your footage, like all the colors you've used. How blue is the blue? How red is the red? Okay, saturation is the level of intensity of the color in your footage, okay? So if I want to increase the intensity of this now, I can just increase the saturation a little, and you can see that it's not working for just one color. It's working for each and every color that it finds in my footage. So if I take it up, everything increases. It doesn't isolate one part of the clip. Everything increases. If I take it down, everything goes down. Okay. So there are different ways you can use your saturation. If you know how to use keyframes, I will definitely be making videos on how to do keyframes. In fact, I have decided I will be doing more videos to give basically all the knowledge I've spent my money and time accumulating. And well, you will know why at the end of the video. But basically, saturation, let's assume I want to, because of what my subject is saying, I want to give this dry feeling, or I want to say, oh, no color or something like that. Perhaps that's like what I want to communicate. I add a keyframe here, I add a keyframe here, and I just decrease the saturation. And when I watch the video, I have something like
number 1. Book number 2 is Atomic Habits by...
Now, if you don't know how to use keyframes, I would make a video on how to do that. But at the moment, I'm just showing you some ideas of how you can use your saturation. Other times, if you're using your saturation for color grading, you should have set all of this first. You shouldn't just take one clip that you've not touched at all and just increase saturation. No, that doesn't look good at all, okay? You should have finished adjusting the temperature and the exposure, the contrast, the highlight, and everything before you increase saturation. Nobody told me this, and maybe some people might have different opinions. It is from my own experience, from using it actually, that I know that if I add saturation before doing every other thing, I wouldn't have the best results, because I'll be seeing the wrong thing. I would think that my footage is good when it is not actually good. So I make sure that everything, like the basics, I've gotten it. I don't have this look anymore. You can see how before is and after is. I have this look that is better, right? So before I can go ahead to increase saturation, if I use this clip now the way it is, and I just come and all I do is increase saturation, it looks so ugly. Actually, it looks ugly. So now, where did we stop? Saturation. Yeah, now that is that. Under that, saturation. Now you can see that everything here, they are categorized under color, okay? And I'm pointing this out because we are now moving to something else called lightness. Everything here works for things that have actual colors. I mean, things that are not white and black. We moved from lookup tables, and I explained what that is. Now we are looking at color. Everything here works for things that have color, while everything here works for things that are either light or dark, okay? So that's why exposure does not actually deal with a particular color, and I think I gave a quick explanation of that earlier on. I was talking about how this clip is overexposed. Overexposed means that your clip is too bright, and by taking down the lever here, by pulling down this, I have something that is better than this. So you can see that if I click on this now, this is the settings for this particular footage. I've not touched the exposure here, but now if I pull up the exposure, it becomes whiter, it becomes lighter, okay, and then it becomes brighter. But if I take it down, okay, it takes away the excess light that the camera has captured, okay, takes that away, and that is what exposure does. So if a clip is like this, it is overexposed. If it is like this, it is underexposed, and your exposure should just be balanced. You should have the right amount of light in your footage, okay? So what you want to do, and in fact one of your action steps at the end of this video, is going to be for you to begin to watch videos that have good color grading, that you like the color, or you just enjoy watching the video, and pay attention to end product, okay? Pay attention to what you see. What makes you like it? Is it the way the colors are combined? Is it the way the clip, or the footage rather, is just natural and balanced? Then when you see poor videos as well, or videos you just don't like because of the way they look, not because of the actual content that the person is communicating, ask yourself, why is this video not looking good to me? So that way you are going to be training your eyes to see, okay, to see what a good footage is and a bad footage, and you moving forward will be trusting your eyes, because yes, you have this lumetri scope, you have this color scope and all that, but they are not as effective as your eyes. I take my final judgments from my eyes, okay? What I see, I trust, I believe, okay? Because I think that the reason I'm in this industry, the reason I chose this is because I figured out I'm a visual person, and well, I didn't become a visual person by looking at the lumetri scope and all of that. It is a natural gift, and it is by developing it that I become better. So I just want you to have that in mind. Let us move on. Now we have contrast next. Wow, really, this is going to be a long one. Contrast is basically, the way it works is that it separates the light part of your clip from the dark part. If I increase the contrast right now of this clip, no, I'm working on this one right now. If I increase the contrast, it separates the things that are dark become darker, the things that are light becomes lighter, so that they don't seem to be together. If I decrease the contrast now, everything seems flat. It's just like everything is together. But if I increase the contrast, it separates. The word contrast itself, it is used to define two things that are like the separation of those things. It is very noticeable. For example, if you put white and black beside each other now, there's a sharp contrast, okay? If white stays from, I don't have anything white here, I would have made an example. Okay, for example, this blue that we have on screen right here, this blue, time, money, sitting on the white, it is like the contrast is very much. That's why we can see time clearly. Assuming this time is white and the background is white as well, you won't see it. Or assuming the white is gray, the time is gray rather, you might not see it as well as you are seeing it right now. So contrast is the difference, okay? You use it to emphasize the difference in color or the difference in the light and the dark part of the clip, okay? So if it is like this, the contrast is not clear. If your clip is like this, the first thing you want to do is not maybe touch the exposure. If your clip or your footage, if your client gives you the footage as it is this way, you should know already that, oh, you have to give it more contrast, okay? Either by using this lever or by using other tools in this color grading segment or section or panel. Okay, so contrast, let me see if I have a good definition for that. The difference between the darkest and the brightest part of your image. If you have high contrast, you are going to have punchy and sharp video or image, and low contrast is going to make it flat and dull. Like I said earlier on, I am teaching this from my own experience and from what I've learned so far. I believe that there's still more for me to learn, but yeah, let's move along. Highlight deals with the white part of your image, okay? So if you increase your highlight, you're going to be having everything that is white or that is bright is going to be brighter in your footage, okay? It's not going to affect the things that are not bright, okay? And if you decrease it, everything that is bright is going to be darker. So that's what highlight does. And what do I have here? Okay, yeah, the brightest part of your video, like the sky or shiny surfaces. So highlight, while exposure deals with only, I would say only the whites, highlight deals with any bright part of your image, anything that is bright, okay? So if you adjust highlight, it affects the bright area without touching the dark parts. So that's what it does. It affects the bright parts. So I think I want to keep it this way, because if I have it too bright, people will notice everything. But if I have it like this, I'm thinking like I'm actually color grading this video right now. So if I decrease it, they will be able to focus on the subject, and everything looks a bit more balanced that way. Let's see what I have here. When you increase your highlights, the bright parts becomes brighter, but when you increase your shadow, the dark parts become brighter. Please pay attention to that. Highlight, when you increase your highlight, the bright part becomes brighter. When you increase your shadows, the dark parts become brighter. Now when you decrease your shadow, the dark part becomes darker. So when it goes up means brighter and down means darker. That's what it means. So for the white, black and brilliance, I don't use any of this. It is 1 2 3 4 that I use. I do not use this. Brilliance, I just use it. Brilliance works like saturation actually, but saturation for your lightness, saturation for all of these things that we've touched. Okay, so if I do like this, I must make sure I have done every other thing that I need to do correctly. For example, I need to decrease the highlight a little bit here, decrease the shadow as well, so that I have something like this, and leave the white and black. And okay, so that was what lightness is, and then that is that for that. Now we are moving to the next segment of this. Now we have your effects. We've talked about color, we've talked about lightness, now we are talking about effect. So this sharpen, the way it works is, it works mainly when you have this kind of edges more in your video, so it just makes them them look like the shape of those to come out well. If I increase it a lot now, you are going to see that anything that has line comes up, like it shows up well, like it shows better, everything with line. But if I decrease it, it become like less obvious. But you don't want to use this. I rarely use this. I rarely use it actually. I rarely use all of this except this vignette. When I want to give my video this effect, I do not use this as part of my color grading. I don't even use it to color correct. I just use it to add effect, as it says, add some effects to my color, okay, to the color of my footage, and that is that for that. So I would not be delving much into all of this, but what vignette does is that it gives your footage like these dark edges, okay, that's what it does, depending on how much you have, and you can do it in white or in black, okay, so depending on what you want. Basically, like I said, this is a tool. Capcut itself is a tool, okay, and this panel is a tool. You should have a vision in your head. You should have something you want to achieve, and then you use these tools to achieve them. It's more like a bricklayer, or it's more like a painter with these are tools, and it's not the tool that make the painter good, but the painter himself, or the artist, is the one that makes something with the tools, okay. So I just explained the use of all of this, except a few part of this. But now I am going to go to, maybe to fulfill all righteousness, I should just touch on them. And if I come here, like I said, makes the edges in your video more defined and crisp, okay. So edges mean anything that looks like a line, anything that looks straight. And clarity boosts the mean tone contrast to make textures. To be honest with you, I don't even want to go into this, because I don't like the fact that I don't use it, but I want to be teaching you how to use it. Perhaps in other video you should learn how to use this, but right now I'm going to move into the next things that are important, which is the HSL, hue, saturation and lightness. I use this a lot actually. Now this hue, saturation and lightness, you don't use it to color correct, you use it to color grade, okay. And that's the first thing I want you to have in mind. Hue here basically means color, okay. That's what hue mean. If you look up the meaning of hue, it means color, right? And saturation, like I told you earlier, is how bright the color is. Now this saturation works for this, and this saturation works for this, and you're going to understand better soon. Then the brightness is basically how bright the clip is, or the color rather, not the clip, the color is. Now how does this work on Capcut? How it works is, right now you can see that it is this color that is circled. You can see one white outline outside this. It means that you are focusing on everything in this video that has this color. The way hue works here is, if you want to change everything that has this color, that has red, I believe this is red, if you want to change everything red in this video to magenta or pink or orange, you are going to drag this down. So you will see that as I drag it down, it didn't affect the white, it only affects, like, look at his lips, it affected it to make it look like it is orange or something. But if I drag it to this place, you can see how it changed. Whatever has red in it, that's what it touches. So I like to use it when I want to work on a particular color in the video, and this saturation increases the brightness of the new color that you have added. Or if you've not added any color, you just have only this actual color, but you want that color to be obvious, this hue, wherever it is in this line, is the color that you will see, okay, for this particular one. But let's say I did not adjust anything, I just want to make this actual color brighter or darker. I can just take this up. You can see how it has changed the face, and I don't like that actually. It doesn't look good. You can make it look like a monster. All right, so that's that for that. Now you can see if I move my mouse, if I click on, let's say this has a blue background, I think I can do something with that blue. Let's say I have blue, I select blue now, okay, this is bluish, so you have this background blue. You are going to see that it won't affect his face, except maybe his eyeball, which has some level of blue, and then the blue on this banner, but it won't affect any other color. Because now let's say I want to change the color of the blue to purple, I can drag it like this, and you see how we changed everything in the background to purple without affecting the man's face. It affected his eye, like I said. I think it did. Oh, it did not. Now his shirt is affected as well, because his shirt, maybe the color spilled on the shirt, okay. But like I said earlier on, if you ever want to color grade your footage and you don't want it to affect your subject, just when you finish color correcting, you have the correct tone for the subject, just what you should do is duplicate, alternate, drag up, duplicate, remove background. That's actually what I do, especially when that's what I want to achieve. So you can remove background so that whatever I do here doesn't affect this man. So I'll come back to adjust, click on that arrow, adjust, and be sure that everything is okay. Then I move to the other clip, and you are going to see when I change the color of the blue to purple, by doing this, it doesn't even affect the man at all. It only affects the background. So you can see that's how I am able to have the right color for my subject. So like I said earlier on, that is how the color works. I can have the same color. Maybe I don't intend to change the color of the color. Again, when you are moving this lever, whatever place you are moving it to, you are changing the color of the color. the hue of the hue. What color is the color? And this one makes it purple, and this one makes it whatever color that one is. Now if you don't want to change the color of the color, but you want to change how bright or how dark the color is, you just move it up or move it down. You can as well want a situation where you don't want any color at all, and you just drag down the saturation. You remember saturation is how intense your color is, okay, and then your brightness is basically looking at how bright, how dark it is. For this footage, if I were to be working on it, I'll just make it something like this. I used to like to make the background color pop. The way I do my stuff is I would make the background color pop, and this lion here, I don't like, it's not coming out, it's too flat for me. So I could just come to this because it seems this color is this color. You can also pick a particular color. I want to think you can pick a particular color and work on it, but I rarely do that. I'm usually satisfied with what I have here. So I see that this color matches the color of this lion here, so I can change the color of that lion to, you can see that as I'm adjusting it, is only touching whatever has this color, like this bulb and the lion. So I like this color better than this color. It doesn't look very natural, so maybe I can just, okay, lions are usually more like this, and then I can increase the brightness of that a little bit so that it comes out and it's not flat on that surface. And then you see that even this L next level is now coming out better. If I check before and after, you are going to see a notable difference. Before, wow, this before looks so rubbish. I hope I have not touched anything. Okay, let me replace everything that I've touched here. So this is before, let me replace everything on before. Yep, I've replaced everything, and this is after. Before, after. The video is so much better. So now let's go on. So I think by now you already understand what the hue does, what saturation does, and what brightness does. So if you want to work on a particular color, you can just click this eyedropper tool and select the color. Maybe you want to work on black. Could you have a reason to want to work on black here? So you have this that is not completely black. You want to make it very black. Everything that is that color will be affected. The hue, the color of the color. I don't think it does. Okay, I can just leave my video like this. And yeah, I think if I have this clip, I would be fine. And curves, I don't want to go into these curves here. Okay, I think I want to go into it in Premiere Pro, and then color wheel as well. I do not use color wheel as much, but I would show you how to use it when we get to Premiere Pro. But for now, that is all I want you to understand about color grading. This is how you do color grading on Capcut. And another thing you can do that I actually do with my footage is I blur the background. You see, only my subject is here, and then this is serving as more like my background. One should not have sound so that the sound will not be too much. Then I'll go to blur under effect, search for blur. Might not be able to bring it up because I do not have a very good internet connection. But basically what I would do is I will blur the background and have the actual footage here, and then it adds depth basically to my video, and it makes it look better. And some of my clients like it like that, and I think we're good. There's a lot more we can do with this, but basically I didn't focus so much on working on this. I just wanted to help you understand, and you can see before,
5 books that you must
and after.
read if you want to,
So before,
not just sell 1 or 2 homes per month, but if you want to make a ridiculous
the difference. I don't even need to tell you which one is the before and which one is the after. You already know, right? You already know. If I'm watching this kind of video, I would be distracted. Okay, the purpose of video editing isn't, I think the purpose is lost. Okay, essentially video editing is basically meant to make a video look how it is meant to look, okay, and then to also enhance it. Video editing isn't only about adding animations, adding all of these things. No, the fundamentals, okay, it is focused on people. You want the people watching the video to have a very good experience. So whatever you are doing, you have the people in mind. If you record a footage like this and you post it this way, you are not actually giving people a very good experience, okay? But if people have something like this, wow, I already feel so much, I feel calm, and I feel I can trust him because of how this video is. But if it's looking like this, boy. So that is that for that, and we're going to be looking at, perhaps before we go, I should actually work on more videos. I think that's why I brought all of this here. I have this video that is actually a bit overexposed. It actually is overexposed. So what I would do to this, what would you do to it? Exactly, you come down to leave color first. Okay, first you want to color correct this clip. Let it have the correct content. Reduce the exposure, and just look at what we did before, after, just by pulling down the right level. I didn't have to start tweaking any other thing. I knew what I wanted to achieve, and then I can just add contrast to it. Okay, I could add this, a little bit of this, decrease the highlight, and I can leave the shadow, the brilliance. I think I can leave every other thing. Then I can now come to the temperature. If I don't want it to be warm, if I'm not communicating, you should know what's warm, what mood you want your video to communicate. Okay, so if I want it to be cool, I can take it a little bit. I think I like this. This is more of a mixture of warm and cool, but I don't want it to be too much. I don't need this tint. There's no green. I need to be make greener. See, I don't need it. You see, I don't need it. My saturation, I will do without it. And with this, I have something better. Okay, I have something so much, but I can reduce these nails because it's kind of distracting to me. So I can reduce the color and see.
Started recording your video. Okay, lighting is back on point. Next up.
Well, maybe I shouldn't tamper with it that much. I could just make it. Let's see if I can change the color. I am not able to get the right thing I want. I'll just leave it like that. And yeah, that's basically that for that. We have before, after, and something as little as that can just make your work stand out. Okay, it can make your work stand out. So let's look at another video that is, oh, this video is not, the next one we are working on is not overexposed. It's not, the exposure is okay, just that the color is not popping. If you watch the after, the before and after that we did for this particular video, you are going to see.
If you ever want
So let's see.
to start a coaching program but didn't feel qualified, this podcast is for you today. You might as well pull up.
Look at the before and after. And to achieve that, how did we do it? Actually, one of my teammates did this. And if I come to adjust when I adjust already, I do not need to increase or decrease exposure. Okay, I want it to be this, and I want to increase this as well. Now I'm using the tints here because now I actually have like colors to work with. Okay, I have colors to work with, and I'm not even done. But if I show you the before and after, you would see something notable. This after, this before, this after. So what I'm doing now, I can classify it as color grading, and I come to saturation, increase it a little bit, and my video is already popping. It is already popping. Now if I want to work on a particular color, let's say this color, this particular color, I came to click on it here. I can select it with this my eyedropper tool, right? I want to increase the saturation of it. I just want it to pop out well. Now you see that I'm increasing the saturation, but for one color. And now my clip is popping. Isn't it popping? This before, after, before, after. You see, it's all about the skill. It's not about the software. Well, honestly, I would say that there are times where you outgrow a particular software, but even when you outgrow it, later you realize that, oh, I could have still even used that software to do something more. Now, let's see what this can do for us. And I'm okay with it. I do not want to touch the face. And with this, I actually do not need any other thing again. Or maybe I just need to decrease the saturation of his face a little bit so that it looks natural and it doesn't look too unnatural. I'm okay with this. Before, after, before. See how flat this is and see how, everything is popping here. Okay, so that's what you want to achieve in your video. Okay, so that is that for that. Anyways, you get the point. Now let us move to Premiere Pro.